super excited. On behalf of my 27,006 residents, I welcome you to East St. Louis. I'm so excited about the announcement that the governor is going to make. We were just talking, it came at great time, and we just had some difficulties with this particular street the last week. So everything's in decency and in order, and I'm so excited about the capital bill that the governor is going to be talking about, along with Senator Belt and all the rest. So without any further ado, I give you Governor J.B. Pritzker.
Mayor, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm really proud that your young administration, Mr. Mayor, is standing with us today to support the Rebuild Illinois plan. I'd also like to say thank you to my partner in Springfield, my partner in all of our endeavors, moving forward, moving the state forward, getting things going across the state. And that's, of course, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton. Secretary Osman, our Secretary of Transportation, simply put, your leadership at IDOT has made this plan possible. And I thank you for your contribution and your vision. Thank you. And keep those hands warm because we got a lot of thank yous, folks. And to Senator Belt, to Representative Bristow, to Eric Aller, to Chairman Mark Kern, thank you for your countless combined years in fighting for the future of the Metro East region. I'm really excited to have you here and joining us today as we make these announcements. The four bills that I'll be signing in Springfield later today took thousands of hours of work by dozens of lawmakers and stakeholders. And in some cases, the work spanned decades. So I want to make sure that I thank all of those who made it possible to rebuild Illinois, which is the most comprehensive infrastructure plan, infrastructure and construction effort in our state's history. We would not be here today without the leadership of the four legislative leaders: President Cullerton, Speaker Madigan, Leader Brady, and Leader Durkin. The five of us, spent countless hours together hammering out these four bills and reaching agreement. And I admire the strength that each of them brought to the table. Senator Durbin also played an important role. With this bill, the state is stepping up to help secure a project that Senator Durbin long ago established as a major priority. His clear-eyed view and sense of purpose in completing this rail project will mark a new day for this community and so many others. We need the help from the federal government, and we have a real leader in Senator Durbin. I want to thank all the co-sponsors who shepherded this legislation through the General Assembly, along with all the hardworking members of our bipartisan working group. That includes President Cullerton, Senators Aquino, DeWitt, Hastings, Hutchinson, Link, Manar, Munoz, McConkey, Sandoval, Severson, Villavalum, along with Leader Harris and Hoffman, and Representatives Arroyo, Butler, McDermott, and Rita. I want to thank business and labor leaders alike. Many of you are here today. It's not every day that a governor gets to thank business and labor in the same speech. But you came together around these measures because you understood that investing in our roads, in our bridges, in our universities, in a modern crime lab is good for public safety. It's good for business, and it's good for jobs. It's good for Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about what this infrastructure bill is going to do for people all over the state and right here over the next 6 years. It's all in the name: Rebuild Illinois. Illinois is a global hub of commerce and a transportation center for the nation. We're an essential part of a supply chain for companies all across the United States. We're the fifth largest economy in the United States. But the foundation of that economy, the very infrastructure that moves goods and people, has been left to crumble for decades. Over the years, we've amassed a $30 billion backlog in maintenance needs for our roads and transit systems. We've racked up a $24 billion backlog at state facilities like the State Crime Lab and educational institutions like our universities. Our infrastructure funding levels have run so low that we're in danger of losing federal funds because leaders of the past didn't make the required commitment to meeting people's basic transportation needs. As a result of that neglect, the people of Illinois have been paying an enormous price. The delays on the way to work cost you money. The congestion that makes it harder to pick up your kids on time from school costs you valuable family time. And on average, families are paying more than $500 a year per vehicle just in car repairs, not to mention hundreds of dollars in depreciation from the wear and tear when our roads are pocked with potholes and hazards. Nearly half of our state's high school graduates leave Illinois for colleges in other states, in part because our universities' buildings and facilities are crumbling. When big swaths of our state, including too many communities right here, East St. Louis and surrounding areas, have no high-speed internet, we miss the opportunity for new businesses and jobs in areas of the state that badly need it. The problems we face are the result of years of disinvestment and passing the buck, but not this year. This year, Democrats and Republicans came together to say enough is enough. Together, we passed the largest, most robust capital plan in state history, and we did it in the very best traditions of democracy, a bipartisan commitment to better the lives of people all across our state. We're also providing every local government the funds to decide which roads need the most work. So this capital bill will relieve some of the pressure on local property taxes. We're connecting families and businesses to the limitless possibilities of the internet. We're connecting entire regions to economic development that has passed them by for far too long. We're investing $45 billion over 6 years to repair what's broken and build what's needed, all while supporting hundreds of thousands of jobs throughout the state. We're reshaping the state of our future. We're rebuilding Illinois. The vast majority of the Rebuild Illinois budget, $33 billion, is dedicated to the day-to-day needs of our families, transportation to work and to visit families and family members and access services and to go to school and so much more. This plan includes $25 billion to maintain, enhance, and upgrade the roads and bridges that the people of Illinois use every day. These investments mean safer transport for millions of people, thousands of families. It means fewer blown-out tires, fewer car axles thrown out of balance, fewer fender benders, and fewer life-threatening car accidents. Taken together, our goal is to make these some of the best roads in the nation and some of the best that you've driven on in decades. Here in Metro East, that means $212 million for a new I-270 bridge over the Mississippi River, a joint project with our neighbors in Missouri. This replaces a bridge built in 1966, more than 50 years ago. It means $24.4 million for a 4-lane highway rerouting US 67, currently a two-lane rural road dating from the 1940s to the east of Delhi. It means $146 million for extensive bridge, ramp, surface, and shoulder repairs along I-255 US 50. Anyone who's driven there lately knows that it needs a major investment. It means $39 million for a new interchange at Dupo that will connect to Davis Street Ferry Road and help businesses there grow. And not far from here, it means $35 million for Illinois 3, Tudor and Piggott Avenues, to repair and replace parts of an aging bridge. This plan includes over $1 billion to expand and improve our rail systems. We're the only state where all 7 of the nation's largest railroads operate. That reduces the number of automobiles and freight trucks on the roads and decreases pollution. And it means our goods can get to market and our warehouses can operate at full capacity. That means jobs. Here in East St. Louis, that means $96 million for extending transit service from Scott Air Force Base to Mid-America Airport. The Rebuild Illinois plan transforms our state's approach to transportation infrastructure, finally treating our roads and our bridges and our railways like 21st century investments and not relics of the past. But this plan goes even further, and what we're doing is what it takes to build a great future for our state. We provide new levels of funding for our colleges and universities and historic investments in early childhood education facilities. That includes $105 million for a new health sciences building at SIU Edwardsville. We're tackling years of neglected maintenance at state facilities, making sure that we have veterans' homes that honor our men and women in uniform, and a modern crime lab that will help eliminate the DNA backlog that prevents so many victims from getting justice. That includes $55 million for a new Illinois State Police facility right here in Metro East. We support the environmental health of our communities with grants and assistance for renewable energy projects, sewage system development, and flood mitigation. We're expanding internet across and throughout the state of Illinois. Whether you're a student, a small business owner, or a farmer, broadband matters. We're responsibly expanding gaming revenue, which means cities like East St. Louis can have ongoing resources to pay for police and firefighter pensions and to fund vital services. Rebuild Illinois is creating and supporting hundreds of thousands of new jobs across the state, including right here in the Metro East region. This isn't just an infrastructure plan. This is a job creation plan, the likes of which our state has never seen. It's a new day in Illinois, and I'm really proud to stand with so many who have worked so hard to usher in real positive change for our state. And now I'd like to introduce some of the people who have had such an important influence on this plan, and I want to begin with Senator Belt.
Good morning. Good morning. I am beyond honored to be here today representing the 57th District. I want to thank Governor Pritzker for coming down to East St. Louis today for this occasion and to show his support for the many important construction projects that are going on right here. Infrastructure is important because it is the backbone of economic growth and expansion. If we want our cities to grow and prosper, we must make continued investments in our roads, our bridges, our schools, and our healthcare networks. The city of East St. Louis is centrally located with access to multiple forms of transportation. We have access to extensive highway networks, multiple Class I railroads, the Mississippi River, and 2 major airports. All of these strategic benefits, however, will vanish if we aren't investing in keeping up our roads, our bridges, and our rail lines. There are a multitude of road projects still left to be announced by IDOT. These projects will help eliminate traffic congestion, reduce potholes, and create good-paying jobs. However, we do know that there are funds included in this capital plan to invest right here in East St. Louis. Crumbling sidewalks, streets with potholes, and the updated sewer lines will receive $500,000 in capital improvement under this fund. In addition, the city will have access to $2 million in funds to help deal with the effects of abandoned and neglected properties. Eyesore properties do more than lower property values and deter economic development. They are also a safety issue for families and in the neighborhoods and can enhance criminal activity. The East St. Louis Health District, which has been providing health services in our region for over 73 years and has filled a vital gap in health services in our community will receive $1 million to expand clinical services and invest in urban farming in our neighborhoods. Access to fresh foods shouldn't be out of reach to families simply because of where you live. Kids who have access to health care attend school at a higher rate and have a better chance of succeeding in the classroom. Local parks, spaces for families and children to interact with their communities. I'm proud that this Capitol bill includes $250,000 for local parks for much needed upgrades and to improve our quality of life. Finally, I want to highlight the major investment being made in our transit system here in the Metro East. As the governor alluded to, thousands of working families rely on public transportation to get to their jobs, travel to school, or even for recreation. This Capitol bill provides $96 million for an expansion of the MetroLink to Mid-America Airport, connecting workers with employment and ensuring access via transit system to both Lambert and Mid-America Airport. These are just a few of the many important projects this plan will provide for our neighborhoods right here in East St. Louis. When investments are made in the community, the potential for future economic development and job creation are endless. Finally, I want to mention, I would be remiss if I didn't mention State Representative Greenwood. Unfortunately, she's not here, but she has worked tirelessly, and she's been an advocate for her beloved 114th District in these proceedings. And with that being said, I'd like to now introduce my fellow Metro East colleague, Representative Monica Bristow. Thank you.
Good morning. It's so good to be here. And Governor, we're so glad to have you down here and sharing all this wonderful news with us. I would like to introduce my co-workers, my Senator, Rochelle Crow, and my co-representative, Katie Stewart, and then Nathan Wrights is also here, and I'd like to thank all of you for being here on our behalf. Governor, it's about economic development and jobs. And economic development and building roads creates jobs, and we thank you for having the foresight and the leadership to take us on this journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I need to introduce Eric Holler, who is the president of the Building Trades. Eric?
Good morning. Thank you, Monica. Yes, I'm Eric Holler. I'm with the president of Southwest Illinois Building Trades. I guess the last time I spoke with Governor was at our National Building Trades Convention in the past April in Washington, D.C. I'm sure why Governor Pritzker was invited is exactly the reason why we're here today, because of our national building trades knew that good things were coming for the hardworking men and women of the state of Illinois. It's taken 10 years, that's how long our working men and women have been waiting for a capital bill. In the leadership of Governor Pritzker and the General Assembly, we got it done. This capital bill is the largest construction program in the state's history. I'm going to repeat that, that's very important. And it's going to provide many prevailing wage jobs for many of our fellow union brothers and sisters. A $44 billion capital bill that will finally fund improvements to our transportation infrastructure, schools, and universities, state facilities, and many other projects, which in return will create hundreds of thousands of man-hours for those working men and women in our building construction trades. There's also legislation addressing safety training in refineries and ethanol plants. This is not only a priority here in our building trades, but also across the United States. So I would like to applaud Governor Pritzker and the General Assembly for all the hard work and necessary steps to put Illinois back to work. And I also like to thank the other labor leaders for their support and dedication, Glenn Ramage, Tatsi Bailey, and let's get to work. With that, I'd like to introduce Chairman Mark Kern.
So if there's one thing today that we need, it's cool. And isn't it cool to have a governor that understands the needs of St. Clair County, Illinois? So, you know, what a great day. I appreciate the General Assembly. I'm proud to be here today, joined with Labor, to thank the governor and thank the Assembly for a great job, a job well done. Growth follows infrastructure. Senator Belt put it so well. And that's what we're going to have in St. Clair County. We're going to have infrastructure that means growth. Not only putting people to work, building the roads and building the infrastructure, but also for generations to come, the jobs that Rebuild Illinois is going to create with this governor is going to be monumental and historic. And we want to again thank J.B. Pritzker, our fine governor, for coming here and remembering St. Clair County. You know, I don't know the last time that a governor has been here at 8th and Piggott, but I think it's probably never. I can be safe to say that, and that says a lot for a man who really cares about Southern Illinois, cares about us, and we appreciate it very much, Governor. And it gives me great pleasure to announce and to introduce Secretary Omer Osman, who's going to come up here and talk a little bit more about this program. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. So it is my honor and pleasure to be here today. I'm acting Illinois Transportation Secretary Omer Osman. Because of Governor Pritzker's leadership and the General Assembly's support of transportation in our state, the Illinois Department of Transportation is back in the business of building a premier transportation network that creates jobs and improve yours and my quality of life. Our roads, bridges, transit providers, ports, rail systems, and ability to grow bicycle and pedestrian accommodation have been neglected for far too long. Our communities have suffered as a result. For far too long, we have lacked the ability to invest in infrastructure and projects like the one we are celebrating here today. This project at Poplar Street Collector Distributor, that's the official name from IDOT. This project will have extensive repair and replacement to this aging bridge. It will extend the surface life for years to come, preserving the eastbound access to and from East St. Louis via Route 3, Tudor, and Pickett Avenue, and that's critical. The Governor's Capital program is extremely comprehensive and detailed. At IDOT, we have been working around the clock to capture its impact on our planning and programming effort over the coming months and years. We will, in the coming weeks, be releasing the entire multi-year program, which shows the full scope of Rebuild Illinois. Today is just a taste of things to come. I am truly excited that this is not only the largest program in the state history, but it's the first one that is truly multimodal. Every aspect and mode of transportation in every part of the state will be touched by this. As Secretary of Transportation and during my entire 30-year career at IDOT, I have pushed for diversity in our department and on our projects. I am thrilled that we have a champion in Governor Pritzker. One of my priorities with this capital program will be to redouble our effort to make us more inclusive. Through our DBE program and other initiatives to best reflect the communities we serve. That means a strengthening program that provide opportunities to get young people started on a career in transportation and to make more small businesses eligible to participate in our projects. That's how you create jobs, grow businesses, and ultimately make our project selection process more competitive. Again, thank you, Governor Pritzker, in your commitment to transportation. get used to seeing IDOT around here these next few years. And please pardon our dust these next few years while we rebuild Illinois. Thank you. And it's my pleasure now to introduce our Lieutenant Governor Spratt. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Secretary Osmond. It's so great to be back here in the Metro East area. And did not Governor Pritzker say he would not forget the Metro East area?
Yes, ma'am.
And we are here today because of that. Governor Pritzker, I'm so proud to serve alongside of you through your leadership and bipartisan support. Today, we deliver on a promise that will improve the lives of people all across our state and the lives of generations to come. Rebuild Illinois is the first capital bill that this legislature has passed since 2009. Through this bill, Illinois will get to work on making our state the infrastructure and trade hub that it has the potential to be. We will create good jobs that will help families across our state, and we will connect communities with one another and make improvements that will create opportunities for the next generation. From fixing roads and bridges in rural Illinois, improving our higher education and early childhood education facilities, investing in renewable energy projects, and ensuring that everyone has access to high-speed internet, and so much more. This much is clear. Rebuild Illinois is not a spending plan. It is an investment in Illinois and its people. Thank you. It's now my honor to bring back to the lectern Governor Pritzker.
Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions that members of the media may have.
Governor, part of paying for this is the increase in gas tax. Some may say that may eat away at any kind of savings that middle-class families receive from the graduating. What do you say to that?
Well, I'm proud to tell you that families all across Illinois are going to benefit in a significant way. In fact, they're going to experience cost savings, and I mentioned this a little earlier in my remarks, cost savings because the amount of money that people are saving when their tires aren't blown out because of a pothole that they're hitting on the highway or on a road, the amount of money that they're saving because they don't have to go in and have their steering realigned, the amount of money that they're saving by getting to work faster, getting to pick up their kids faster, the productivity increases actually far outstrips any cost to people across the state. So in fact, the savings are between $1,300 and $2,600 per year per vehicle for families across Illinois. And that blows away any cost that there is in the 19-cent increase in the gas tax.
There's been reports that Democrats receive 2-to-1 advantage over Republicans in terms of projects. You've always talked about fairness. How is that fair?
Yeah, I just want to say one other thing in response to your other question. You may know that the last time there was a gas tax increase was 1990, and it was put to 19 cents. It was not indexed to inflation. If it had been indexed to inflation in 1990, it would be exactly where we set it at today. And we would have experienced all of the investment that would have come from the dollars in the gas tax over all those years. We did not. Now we need to make up for that, but we've simply set it where the index to inflation number would otherwise be. I believe in fairness, and you're 100% right, and I've worked with Republicans to make sure that we're actually meeting their needs all across the state. As you probably know, a majority of the money from the Capitol bill will go to roads and bridges and other infrastructure in downstate Illinois, which is mostly represented, by Republican representatives and state senators. So we're working hard to make sure that there is fairness across the state and across all the districts.
Governor, you talked a lot about safety on the roads, but come the first, drivers have a responsibility as far as that texting law that's going to be strict. Let's talk about that because I think that changes some things.
Well, first of all, people should not be driving and texting. I mean, that's critically important. The number of deaths that result from that is, far outstrips the number of deaths that result from drunk driving. We've got to change that. This is something that's come upon us. I mean, for those of us who are in our 50s, 20 years ago there wasn't texting and driving. And yet we all see it. You drive on the roads, you look over at somebody driving along the highway, and they're texting while they're driving. It's extraordinarily dangerous. So the penalties for doing so have increased substantially. People need to recognize that they got to put their phones down. Your safety, your life is worth much more than whatever message you're trying to send or read.
Recreational marijuana, a big talker across the country. Looks like Illinois is about the 11th state. Let's talk about the revenue that it's going to bring into the state.
Well, I want to start by talking about the fact that we're the first state, and really the only state, that has put in place an equity-centric focus in our cannabis legalization. Yeah. And that means jobs are going to get created. It means that revenue that comes from the sale of cannabis is going into the communities that have been most significantly impacted negatively by the war on drugs. That's very important. All of us, Lieutenant Governor Stratton, a number of the people who are standing with me, we all worked on making sure this was a plan that would benefit the entire state and that would significantly invest in the things that we need. Law enforcement needs dollars. Our mental health clinics need dollars. Our substance abuse treatment centers need dollars. These are all things that will benefit from the fact that we've legalized cannabis. And as I say, very important to me, and I fought for this throughout the process, making sure that the communities that have been most ill affected by the war on drugs benefit from the legalization of cannabis. The criminal justice reform aspects of it, one last thing to say, the proportion of people who who smoke or use cannabis in any way is proportionate to the population, but the arrests and the convictions are not. The arrests and convictions are disproportionately against people of color. So the legalization is a significant effort to overcome the criminal justice, the negative criminal justice aspects of the criminalization of cannabis. Last thing is just the revenue. I think you were generally talking about the revenue. About 45% of the dollars that will come in from the legalization of cannabis will go to the state budget, to paying off our bills in the state budget. And the rest of it, as I say, goes to the programs that I think we all felt were very important for us to send money to directly.
Governor,
Yes, sir.
what are your thoughts on yesterday's gerrymandering decision by the Supreme Court? Would you get behind Senator Brady's call for the Fair Maps Amendment?
Well, as I've said from when I was a candidate, I will veto any map that is unfair. It's the right thing to do. And we're going to have to make sure that here in Illinois we're not gerrymandering, that we're drawing districts that are fair and competitive. That's what's best for the voters of the state, that they have choices when they go to the ballot.
Back to the increases. There are those who are concerned that people are being taxed out of Illinois, that the taxes are getting so high that people are going to leave the state. Is that a concern of yours at all? And also, what about people who live like in the Metro East and they're just going to get their gas in Missouri? More people going over there to buy gas because it's going up.
Well, I'd say two responses to that. As you know, I'm very much focused on making the tax system fair, and we're trying, in fact, to change the tax system so that the middle class and working class get a break in the state, that we're able to pay the bills of the state, but that the middle class and working class are not the ones who are paying for it. And the income tax, the change that I've proposed to the income tax, is the best way for us to go about it. It gives us the real opportunity to get progressivity and not regressivity. And as I said earlier, the fact that people are going to be paying a little bit more for roads and bridges actually is going to end up saving them a significant amount of money every single year. So they're essentially getting a break as a result of what we're doing, because when you're not hitting that pothole, when you don't have to replace a tire, and when your tire blows, often you have to replace two of your tires. And when your steering isn't misaligned, those are significant savings.
All right, thanks everyone.
Yep, thank you.